Yes, absolutely. Because rest of the things are given. I mean, people have studied, people have skills, people have all those things already there. What they need is the belief. They would want to enjoy. They would want to feel secured. If you are able to do that as a leader, rest everything is a given. They if there are certain skill sets which require some polishing, they would do, but it all depends how bad they would want to do it, and they would want to do it only if they enjoy it. They feel that sense of belongingness, they feel that this is their thing. I'm shocked. My one of my offices in another city, the team has put in a request with HR team. They want couches in the office because at times these guys are not going back home. Only for 2 3 days they're just sitting and working because they're enjoying it so much. So it's not, we are saying that yes, you should go back, but no, they're enjoying the atmosphere, the culture, the skill sets that we are pushing and helping them develop. So at times, do happen like that things just fall. All the things come together, and if things have come together for me, I would want them to be there for the others also. I see myself in a lot of my kids, my teammates. I see myself out there, and I see them, how hardworking they are and how eager and anxious they are to learn new things, to move up the 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 things. And I generally believe in the goodness in people, and I see that is paying me dividend, because I find, that goodness, actually everybody wants that goodness to be nurtured among themselves. Nobody wants to lose it.
Yes, yes, indeed. There are the awesome parts that came with this type of technology to immerse in virtual reality, and now with senses, you have extra feelings on your body and smell, and to be actually there and simulate this part. And it reminds me on Star Trek, when they were on the ship and they entered into a virtual room, and they have everything there as on.
So that's all imagination at that point of time. Today it's reality, and transporting people. So that is what we are doing in the immersive world also. We don't call it metaverse, we call it Mayaverse. And what is happening in Mayaverse is basically, so if you have your conscious self and your physical self, if you look at your consciously, you can be somewhere, is a reality, today, with this kind of.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vibe It Up, the podcast where we explore the dynamic world of tech. I'm your host, Dan Tudorache, and I bring over 20 years of experience in the software development industry, wearing multiple hats as a solution architect, leadership coach, trainer, and psychologist, too. Now, you might be wondering, what's the vibe all about? Well, Vibe It Up is not just a podcast, it's a community. It's a space where we connect with tech professionals, from experts to visionary directors of engineering, solution architects, software architects, and inspiring team leaders. In each episode, we explore the personal and professional journeys of our guests, uncovering the path that brought their success stories. So let's kick it. We have today with us Tapan Sangal. Hey, Tapan.
Hi Dan.
Hi, welcome. And I want to. I'm grateful for you being here, and it's a great honor for me. And I would like to present a little yourself. First of all, what's your current role, and what it means for now to be Tapan Sangal? Who are you?
Okay, so I mean, while it's a tech-led podcast, but just to let you know, I'm not a techie. I'm a
No
hardcore
worries,
lawyer.
it's
And
okay. you
I'm
you
a I'm a
discuss about tech, you have the tech in mind, and it's everything. I mean, it's not important if we code, or we do product, or we do management, or we do other things, as much as our area of interest is the same, tech world.
So that's what I'll just let you know. So I'm a hardcore regulatory guy. I come from the other side, and I've entered tech from the regulatory side. So when I say I entered tech from the regulatory side, these days, people are going gaga about AI, and people are going gaga about blockchain and Web3 space and all of that, and the all kinds of regulatory issues that all the tech people are facing with. And I'm, like I said, I'm a lawyer. I appeared before Queen's Bench in London, appeared before International Courts of Justice in Strasbourg, appeared before courts and justice globally, been following the legal parameter. And then I was with PricewaterhouseCoopers, part of their regulatory practice and regulatory practice. So I'll just start with one aspect. One is, as a lawyer, when I was practicing as a law, we used to always keep in our mind that whatever advice we will give our client will stand the scrutiny of the courts. So whatever I'm advising would stand the scrutiny of the court. But the moment I started working on as a regulator, and I started thinking from a business point of view, businesses don't want to go to the court. They want to stay on the right side of the regulator, and they would want that somehow they don't go to the court. So that is one part, that is my core training. But then my passion had always been a tech thing. Myself was not trained, but then I read a lot, and then I started my own incubator about 10 years back, where I was working with a lot of these techies, investing my own money, and we were creating small products and small companies. And over a period of time, I stumbled upon, in 2015, I was working on blockchain from a different point of view. Blockchain, I wanted to look at it from a regulatory point of view. So what we've done is we've created our own blockchain, which is called Kalptantra, which is regulated by design. So I say that I don't need any regulations. All the regulations are already there. So what I did was we put together a legal team and a coders team, and we coded the law of the land on the tech. So we coded, a smart contract that is being deployed, that smart contract, is it in line with the law of the land? So I can have a Kalpatan Singapore, which is compliant with the Singapore law. So I could have geographical rules and regulations. I can have sectoral rules and regulations, and tech we are embedding into. So that's the whole part that we are working on. So my company called Mai Labs, which I'm founder of. Now we've got some good investors. My company is currently valued at $500 million. We've got a couple of patents, US patents, the huge patents on immersive tech. So all these things have happened while I'm currently having a 300 people team, all so engineers, and I'm myself not an engineer, but yes, I'm leading a team of 300 engineers and techies and product owner, all. And then in 24 you will be seeing all our products we'll be launching. For 4.5 years we've been working under the stealth mode. We're creating everything, and now we are doing one filing in SEC and US for taking a approval out. We've already filed in Vara in Dubai. We are doing some filing in Singapore, and so we are globally going to the regulators, and regulators in a way are loving us because our tech is in compliance with their regulations.
Yeah,
And
you do
so
their job.
yeah, that's the kind of tech that that is what I'm doing currently. We are in a phase where we know that people would come and see us, and people would, we need to now be validated in terms of our products and our thought process, our tech architecture, and how and what all people have done. And all our patents also will be presenting. We'll be tokenizing our patents for the first time. It's going to happen. We are tokenizing the IPRs in US only by going to the SEC, taking a, so it's a asset backed tokens, and these are all totally regulated, and we have created these trust structures. So there is a whole lot of legal part to it and a technical part to it coming together for the mass adoption. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's an interesting product, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, so it is basically bringing tech from the digital world into the real world, because real world has its own real problems. So when you create a tech, you are in the digital side of it. You cannot be oblivious of the real world. So in a real world, when you're transferring the rights to the digital world, how do you make sure that these rights can be enforced in the real world? Because real world is there, real world has all kinds of stuff. You have people like SEC talking about you've done this wrong and that wrong, and you have all the regulators sitting out there, and they are evaluating you on the basis of, basically, the utmost thing in their mind is the protection of the end user and the protection of the investors and the protection. And then there are no conflicting roles out there. How through tech we can solve the legal aspects and the regulatory aspects is the core on which we are focusing at My Labs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds great because I know it must. It is difficult to comply to all mechanism of regulation around the world. I mean, European Union have some regulations. Countries from EA have different type of regulations, maybe, and also United States, Singapore, and Asia, and so on, and Dubai maybe it's a different one.
And today customers, because of the connectivity, they are across the globe, so you cannot and need to cater. So now with GDPR coming, that the European laws requiring their data to stay in UK, the Americans, SEC wants that if you are doing something selling in US, then you need to file in SEC, otherwise you can sell outside. Dubai is coming out. So all these, these are all cross country regulations. And how do you transfer data, and how do you communicate, transfer of values within the jurisdiction, is what we are solving through the tech.
Yeah, 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 amazing. It's a great product, and I'm pretty sure you have been successfully pitching this now, and you also have other investors, or you are only yourself.
No, no, no. I have currently, we the last we so I have raised almost $17.5 million from investors, some private equity funds and all who've invested into it. The last investment was at a valuation of $250 million, but now I am in the market. We are talking to a couple of investors at $500 million valuation into our company.
Mm, oh, that's big. Hmm. Okay. Well, I want us to go back to Tapan, the human, the Tapan, the man. Who are you beside everything that is professional?
Yeah, so beside everything that is professional, I would say I'm a very enthusiastic dreamer. So I dream big, and I'm very enthusiastic about what I dream, and then go all about. And I'm a bit of a social animal, so I have my relationships which stick. So I have relationships which are with me for last 20 years, 30 years also. So this is, I would say, that's how I would want to, express myself.
Yeah, amazing. So, how much of your relationships, your network, helped you when you started this new company?
So, I mean, obviously, my first angel investor actually was my client from my lawyer's days. So he I told him that I'm gonna give away a certain briefs because I'm gonna concentrate on my this tech company. And he says, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I showed it to him, and he said, "You mind if I invest?" I said, "Why would I mind if you would invest?" So that's one thing, because he trusted that I would do everything legally sound and I would never do. So that was my first pitch, where I was not pitching, and the first money that came to me, that was a $5 million check, which is not a joke in this environment. Which I so this, I believe, is the relationship and the trust that I would do whatever I'm doing the right place, and now he's sticking and supporting. So that's one. And secondly, globally, when you have friends, even like companies, like when I worked with PwC about 10, 15 years back, I left PwC. But when I was working with PwC, all these guys, they come forward, they help you with regulations, cross, you cannot have those expertise or skill sets from various jurisdictions. These people come together, they help you, that yes, you are one of them, and you're trying to create something on this side, from this side. You're not a hardcore tech thought process. I'm going to the regulators, and when I'm talking to them, certain regulators, they kind of want to see who you are, and when you are not a techie, how are you doing it? So the people who are working with me, my team and all my senior guys who are working with me, some of them are again old relationships who've just come forward. Okay, you're starting this, we are with you. So those, that's how things have come together. So it's, the relationships certainly have helped me. So one is these are all organic relationships. These are not inorganic where I've gone somewhere and try to build up a relationship for the purpose of a business or for the purpose of with some objective. These are all organic relationships which have come together, which have believed what I'm thinking, and which have kind of joined into the vision that we are putting together.
Yes, yes, indeed, and that's what I want to do in this episode, to explore the human skills, the human nature of us, of e- even the technical people needs to have this part uh, of skill, of humanity, of empathy, of interpersonal and intrapersonal skills. Because yeah, as you said, it was helpful, and your first investor came from your network. The people trusted you. Yes, and that's because you also nourishing that um, relation.
Yes, and at the end of the day, I personally feel, and all my teammates, if I'll share with you, I tell them that we spend more time with ourselves in the company than we spend actually with our families, because we are working and we're spending more time. So I mean, I believe the interpersonal skills have become so complex today, because people have different kinds of pressures, people have different kind of backgrounds, people have different kind of complexes or different kind of upbringings and all that. And then when especially you're working across the globe, everywhere, things, people are different, they consider things differently. What I believe sticks, and what I believe come forward to help you in such a scenario, is honesty and transparency. Period. People love honesty, people love transparency. I mean, I personally, at times, some of my friends tell me that, but I personally start by trusting and revealing everything. People say that no, no, you have to keep things like this, you cannot, people will take away your ideas, or people would think like that. But I feel the other ways. I feel that people want to do the right work, people want to believe somebody, people want to trust you, people want to, so they have their own skepticism. Why? It's not that they are thinking wrong or anything. They, because the kind of society and the kind of environment we are living in, and the kind of, when you read about trolls and you read about the social media and the digital noise which is created around that, in that, I believe there is a huge scope to be on the right side of emotions, to be on the right side of trust and belief and everything. And people just join together. I mean, that's what I feel. You don't have to do any effort if you are being honest and transparent. There is no effort required.
Yeah. So what I understood from you, one of your values as a leader are the authenticity, transparency, right, and human skills, emotional intelligence skills, empathy, and so on.
Yes, absolutely. Because rest of the things are given. I mean, people have studied, people have skills, people have all those things already there. What they need is the belief. They would want to enjoy. They would want to feel secured. If you are able to do that as a leader, rest everything is a given. They, if there are certain skill sets which require some polishing, they would do. But it all depends how bad they would want to do it, and they would want to do it only if they enjoy it. They feel that sense of belongingness, they feel that this is their thing. I'm shocked. My one of my offices in another city, the team has put in a request with HR team. They want couches in the office, because at times these guys are not going back home. Only for 2 3 days they're just sitting and working because they're enjoying it so much. So it's not, we are saying that yes, you should go back, but no, they're enjoying the atmosphere, the culture, the skill sets that we are pushing and helping them develop. So this is especially in a tech world, people are very insecure. Tech is moving very fast. People are insecure about their own skill sets being evolved. People move around, they keep jumping from one company or the other company. I mean, thankfully, my attrition is next almost zero, and that is only because people are loving it, and people are knowing that yes, they are creating something and which is their own. So each and every person in my company has a ESOP. Everybody, in spite of their levels, and everybody. So it's their company is what they feel, and I believe my biggest achievement is that products and investments and funds, it's all secondary. It's the team. At the end of the day, it is the team, but what matters.
Indeed. Yeah, yeah. So it's not just a group of very skilled technical people and the programmers and DevOps and so on, but it's a team formed with humans that are having technical skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the skills are meaningless if you don't have those human skills. That's what I believe. Skills can be learned, but the human skills are something that you need to nurture and curate, and that those emotions, those connects, those securities, and I believe that is what makes the difference.
Yes, indeed. And it seems from what you told me that there is connection between them and they prefer to go to office just because they feel safe. They have a vision and somebody it's leading them to the right path. They have trust in your ability to lead them. And I guess also the office atmosphere is great, so it's not something rigid, stressful and so on that you want to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they know, see, people, I mean, I generally believe in the goodness in people, and I believe they would want their goodness to come out rather than their scary nature or their insecurities, or they want, and if you give them a chance, they are all for it.
Yes, yes, indeed. And that's why I want to go back a little in time with you and think of when you started. What challenges did you had in your domain? I know it was not tech, but each domain has his own challenges. How it was for you?
So, I mean, challenges, of course, as you rightly say, challenges are always there, and challenges is, if challenges are not there, then you cannot be what who you are. It is the challenges that actually push you to learn, think differently, think out of box, think. So I had my own. I've come from a very small town from India, and speaking English was a challenge at that point of time. And then you come out of that, you go out, so I used to do a whole lot of summer jobs, just to give myself exposure and be in company of people who could teach me. So I believe you need to become sponge, or it all depends on how bad you want a thing. I wanted to come out of the town and create something. Today I certainly feel that I'm living my dream, the dream that I was used to see 35 years back, or maybe 40 years back. I'm living that dream today, because the small town from where I've come, and it all has happened. I would not want to take all the credit myself. I believe there are people. At times you get lucky. There are people who inspire you. There are people who motivate you. There are people who are able to guide you, and of course there are instincts also, and your own your way of looking at things. At the end of the day, that's how I believe. So I've had my own share of problems. I was zero twice or thrice in my life, and then you start again, and all these are part of learning. Even as my incubator, I lost a lot of money. But then that was not important. What important was that I learned a lot. I learned so much that it is helping me. It's showing me right now. I mean, I feel that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it seems that, and I can see that people coming from I don't know, difficult areas of in their childhood, in their life, when they didn't were so lucky to have everything, to have rich kids, rich parents, and a lot of money, and so on. They've built resilience, and with that resilience they went into life, and everything that came to them, they were able to resist. Even they fall, they could rise again. And I can see that from a lot of investors, from a lot of business people, entrepreneurs who have been multiple times maybe in the zero or down below with the debts positions. And it's something, it's a skill from emotional intelligence. So in the emotional intelligence we have the self-awareness for to know ourselves very good, who we are, what we want, what values do we have, everything related to this. And after that is the emotion, self-regulation, where we know to understand our emotion, everything that came from the trigger and emotion and action part. And the other one is to have resilience, and resilience is built on top of everything. And
So at times, do happen like that, that things just fall, all the things come together. And if things have come together for me, I would want them to be there for the others also. I see myself in a lot of my kids, my teammates. I see myself out there, and I see them, how hardworking they are, and how eager and anxious they are to learn new things, to move up the things. And I generally believe in the goodness in people, and I see that is paying me dividend, because I find, that goodness, actually everybody wants that goodness to be nurtured among themselves. Nobody wants to lose it.
yes, and that reminds me of the game theory. That there are the reject, defect, play, and zero. So nice always win. Nice always won the multiple points, all the points maybe. And if you have no one to play with, of course the dynamic will go bad, and everyone will retract. But the nice is something that was scientifically proved that can help us a community to grow and help everything in our world to grow. And yes, it seems what from what you told me earlier, you value a lot attitude to in the working space. So what are the qualities, maybe I should ask you directly, what are the qualities you search for in a new employee that wants to get into your team?
So, I mean, whenever people come and meet me, ultimately, if there is because now I don't get into the lower staff and all, there are teams. But our HR is very clear of two things. One, they would want to basically, look for a cultural fit out here. So that's very important for us. I mean, skill set, everything is all given. That, of course, is yeah. So but from a softer skills point of view, secondly, how fearless the person is in terms of creativity. We nurture, we value, we curate creativity. I mean, in our company out here, anybody can have any idea and come and talk to anybody, is how we have kind of built the culture out here. So you are not just one piece in a larger wheel and just doing one piece. You are allowed think out of box. So out of box, and so there is something called creative intelligence that we are talking about in our company, in the word of artificial intelligence. And we all believe that it is the creativity at the end of the day that is going to be celebrated, because rest everything will be taken over and be done by the AIs. So all the work can be done by AIs, but the creative thought process and creativity is what is going to be celebrated. And we are kind of bringing that culture inside us. And we are very, very, very particular. I mean, the other day we were interviewing one of the marketing guys, and he was coming and telling us all kinds of stuff that you today do in the digital world, in the digital. But then the digital world is flushed with all kinds of digital pollution. How do you stand out? How can you think, what new things can you do, is what. So we want people to become fearless in terms of creativity. At times people are out of fear, they try to uh, put a lid on their creativity, and we want to open that. And that's one part that we definitely see. And the top guys, they certainly feel that we need to look for creativity. Definitely, if you are a creative person, even if you are an accountant, even if you're a tax guy, even if you're a marketing guy, even if you are, so creativity is something that we definitely go after beside everything else, and culture of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, and as you told me earlier, the attitude and the human skills, because they need to be part of the team and not to work alone.
And also, it is not that everybody would come with those skill sets. At times they would not have got a chance to kind of explore the sets. But the process that our HR team and all have put together, we see a potential. How rigidity, if there is rigidity, is where only we kind of. But if there is an openness we find into the person, then it's we've seen people coming here and changing totally in last 4 years. So
Yes, yes. And now, if you don't have those types of qualities already in the team members, how I wonder how and what do you do to grow them?
So what we do, so we do a couple of things. We have these mind mapping sessions in terms of various products and all. We do a whole lot of internal, so any product which people have done, even a part product, is being demonstrated to the entire team, and every team member has a right to respond whatever they feel and what could be done. So it is when you give them a chance to think, go lateral and think laterally. So you don't have to only think vertically. You can also think on a lateral dimension. And we feel that at times people do come out with certain ideas, and when those ideas are being appreciated, they go back into their mind, and they get encouraged. So that's a couple of things. And plus, they keep doing a lot of workshops, small workshops and all, internal workshops we keep doing. We certainly believe in investing not only in the skill set, but how to the application of the skill sets, and what more you could do. Whether you are doing new kinds of algorithms, you're doing new kinds of uh, we are also into immersive tech, we are also into headgears. So there are a lot of products that we have been working. And because we have a dedicated R&D team also, we have set up. So these ideas, these things keep going to the R&D teams, and R&D teams also keep coming and mixing and talking to people. So these kind of open and transparent thing is what I believe is helping people gain that confidence, that yes, we are not only feeding them with their salaries, but also their mind, and a chance to learn new things, a chance to explore new things. And I believe this is what kind of cultivates the habit of thinking creatively.
Hmm. Yeah, the no judgment, no fear culture, and psychological safety.
Yes. And everybody knows that we want to be on the right side of the law, and for which what we need to do and why, not because of anything, but because there is a there so state has a responsibility for the masses at large, and that is what state is going, and they're not with these regulations and all. They do have sandboxes where people go and seek waivers of these regulations and all, but then at the end of the day, the ultimate objective is that the tech should be used. So I did a small, if I don't know if I can share it out here, we did a small we 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 read all kinds of uh, limitations and all kinds of papers which were written in terms of privacy laws or privacy rules written on various websites, and people have started now telling people that my data you cannot use for training your AI and all, that kind of stuff has started happening whether you go to any of these. What we did was that we created a clause where we were addressing these models. So we were addressing the LLMs, we were addressing the machine learning models, and then we put those clauses in certain documents, and we put it on Claude, and we put it on ChatGPT. We found that Claude, because of that address to Claude itself, address to a machine learning model, but they've stopped, and they said that no, I'm barred from reading it, because if it's not only that they've put in ethical rules out there, they need to be behaving ethical. So what is behaving ethical is what we were kind of exploring with this. So these kind of things. So one of our legal team thought of this idea, and they put it together, and then we experimented with it, and then it yielded the desired result. ChatGPT unfortunately was not behaving ethically while they are in part of the ethics committee, but Claude was behaving ethically because of that clause that was addressed to the machine learning model itself or the LLM itself, saying that you cannot use this data. So these are the things that are happening out here.
Yeah, and it comes back to responsible AI and ethical
Yes.
AI and how we treat data, what we do with it,
Well, AI has
how.
to behave ethically also, is what we are saying. I mean, you are an
Mhm.
ethical AI. Are you behaving ethically?
Oh yes, yeah. It first of all it comes from the owners and product owners and whoever invented that model, the use of that, and everything is behind. And indeed, it starts from us, not the model, but the models how they are used and the data in them might be not secure, to say like that, and you need to control it when it goes into the model and when it goes out from the model, to be responsible, ethical, and safe, and so on. So it's a challenge now, but I think we are starting to.
No, it will come together. I'm sure of that.
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking of people and teams, I do wonder if there are situations where I don't know, in team dynamics, communication challenges maybe, or that leads to difficulties and conflicts in the team. Why do you think there are, if there are, why do you think there are the reasons, and how do you handle this?
So, I mean, they are bound to be there because at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we are very complex species, and our brain acts in very funny manners at times. Uh, so these things do come. It's not that these things don't come. I'll be, naive if I would say that I could create a culture where people don't clash, or there are no. So these things, they keep coming, and they, like you rightly mentioned, they come only and only because of lack of communication or over communication also at times. Over communication in terms of, so we I mean, there are instances where we had to ask a few people to leave also. I mean, I'll be frank. So while there is no but then we had to ask people because that rigidness, because at the end of the day we cannot filter everything, and we cannot know that we have hired the right kind of a fit. And uh, uh, so the best way is to break the ice and create that communication again. I mean, right now what we are doing is, there is a new exercise that is being done, is from various departments people come together, they sit with me, and we just have a AMA session with me or with any of the other leaders, and people are talking about what's happening and all these things. And then we try to, bring at times, and these things I believe happen because of insecurities, which creeps in at times. And at times people do have problems at their home, and they are not able to communicate or talk. So if you have a good listening, so our HR, we in fact hired a psychologist in our company, and her role was purely and purely just talking to people and help them, come out. And people were loving it so much, so we've just given it a break for 6 months. She would just spend hours, and then there were follow-up questions from her. And her role was, she was not to share anything with me or anybody in the company. She was just a listener post who was, and that helped us. And she worked in our company for almost 9 months, and she was a friend to almost everybody. People would want to, and people have already started going to the HR and asking that, at times people just want a ear to vent out, and and those things. So I believe that actually helped us, and that was purely and purely, I mean, her brief was, she needs to be the custodian of the emotional, intelligence and the emotional balance of people individually, on an individual basis. She would do group sessions also, she would do individual sessions also. So that was one thing that has kind of helped kind of calibrate certain things for us as a culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, indeed. And I'm doing the same thing as a team coach in the companies that I work for, and now as a consultant too, because it's important to mix everything they have in terms of roles, responsibilities, culture, and everything with the emotional nature, how they feel about those, what are the challenges they have as individuals in overcoming maybe those things from there. Because as you said, we as people have different backgrounds, and we might have triggers that doesn't mean that are real in the current situation, but it is, we have them, and we act and behave accordingly to, I don't know, to defeat ourselves, to enter in a state of defense when it's not the case. And it's not that they bad violent or something like that, they want to do bad, or their intentions are bad. No, it's just because they, this is how they know to cope with the challenges, how to cope with the world, with everything in that. And yes, what you did in terms of psychologists within the team, it's an important help for them, because it helps them regulate the emotions within the team, the communication type, how well they are communicate with each other. And
mean, I believe need those tools, which a professional can provide them those tools, how to manage such emotions or such situations or such things. And it's, at the end of the day, it's another set of skill set. So skill set is not only about programming or writing a good algorithm. Skill set is also, this is also a skill set. And uh, these are very very important skill sets.
hmm yeah. And how do you see nowadays with the development of AR, and augmented reality and virtual reality, and the glasses that you put on your eye and you don't see anything else in front of you, and you see it.
This what you see, this what you see, okay? This is the 100 square kilometer of immersive world that we are creating. It's 100 square kilometer of immersive world. It will have 20,000 metaverses hosted in it. This is the future of internet. So you are immersively. So my patents that I have patent on smell, on taste, on touch. These are my US patents in the immersive world.
I understand. Okay, okay. So you have patterns on devices and gloves on other things that.
And you can smell also. You can smell with the. You can taste also. So there are certain smoke three cartridges, and you would. So if you see somebody cooking, you could actually feel the taste. Or you are going through a rose valley, smell the rose through AI. It is hot spotting this area, and that is going to my device, and my device is creating that smell while you are watching. And I've also invested. We're also coming out with our headgears. We've just acquired a US company called One Immersive, and with which we are also getting, because this is one immersive area where we are concentrating on creating immersive content hugely. Now this, you asked me this question, so this is what I want to tell you is that, see, we cannot avoid it. Okay, this is going to happen. This is the next way of communicating. You and I right now communicating like this was not there 5 years back. It came up after the COVID thing and all that. 5 years back, we would have picked up a phone only and spoken. But tomorrow, 2 years down the line, you and I, we will be immersively sitting each other, shaking hands, maybe sipping our respective cup of coffees and smelling the aroma of the coffee. That's the future, and it's not very far. Not more than 3 to 4 years, maybe a maximum 5 years. It's just there, and right now people are working on. We've done a couple of POCs in terms of streaming this. How to bring down the cost of the headgear. We are doing a lot of stuff on that from a R&D point of view and a product point of view, but that is a future. And I personally feel that that future will, it's not that it will take you out, it will actually bring you closer, is what I feel. I mean, we are doing a PhD with a hospital which is looking after the senior citizens, and they were so happy with our touch thing, because these parents have not seen their grandchildren. They can touch them, and they, the kind of emotions and the kind of things. We did a small project for them. So this is something which is going to happen emotionally. How things, see, in any case today, kids, if you look at the new kids, they are digitally, way ahead. They are consumed digital. Their entire education, even the social thing is that only. Okay, so now going forward, uh, I'm not saying that this is how, but this is something where people would be able to feel a better sense of relationship socially. So that's, I don't know if I've spoken something which is, something that you are not thinking, you are thinking, because I'm into this tech, so that's why you must be seeing some passion oozing out of me when I'm talking about this tech. But then I believe that there is a whole lot of good also out of this tech.
Yes, yes, indeed. There are the awesome parts that came with this type of technology to immerse in virtual reality, and now with senses, you have extra feelings on your body and smell, and to be actually there and simulate this part. And it reminds me on Star Trek, when they were on the ship and they entered into a virtual room, and they have everything there as on.
So that's all imagination at that point of time. Today it's reality, and transporting people. So that is what we are doing in the immersive world also. We don't call it metaverse, we call it mayaverse. And what is happening in mayaverse is basically, so if you have your conscious self and your physical self, if you look at your consciously, you can be somewhere, is a reality, today, with this kind of.
Yeah, uh, it's something, yes, it will come, and there are multiple devices that are doing that. You also invent one, and I'm curious, how do you see and how do you foresee in this scenario the impact on human behavior in terms of social interaction, physical social and interaction, not virtual?
So I tell you what, there are two things. One thing is that you have a closed circle of social network, and then you have, like, you and I, we are not in a closed circle. Okay, you and I, we've socially come together, but then you and I, we are having one experience and one set of conversation right now. This can be enriched, it can be at different level. I would get a chance to create that kind of a relationship that I relish with you, in spite of you outside the close. So that's one part that I see, that you would be able to, communicate better, you would be able to express better, you would be able to connect better. So that's one part of it. But at the end of the day, every take, everything has its own, that a movie Ready Player One, if you would have seen that movie, where they would want to, you would want to close it every Sunday so that people can actually physically meet, because if I can do everything sitting out here today, in any case, people are facing challenges bringing people up to the office, and all those things have happened. People have tasted that. Okay, people are wanting to do that because of traffic things and all. So I mean, we have done one factory recently where, through IoT devices and immersive thing, you can manage the temperature of the factory, you can manage the entire buildings and everything immersively by creating a digital twin and embedding the IoT devices onto it immersively. You could do the entire thing. So there are always pluses, and so now it all depends, what am I going to do with that extra time that I've saved by not traveling? What am I going to do with that? It all depends on me. So, but yes, there would be a learning curve also required out there for the human behavior. People like yourself who can think of tools to let people know that physical self is equally important as the virtual self. These things would evolve, is how human have evolved as the tech has evolved. And we have worked around that tech and found. So I mean, of course, nothing beats one to one, face to face handshake. Nothing beats that. Okay, even my tech, of course, it is using all kinds of things, air pressures and all that, to feel that, that stuff and all. But then nothing beats when a skin meets skin. So I mean, but yes, uh, because of the world becoming flat and shrink, and because people can talk globally, you can have a extended kind of communication, and an extended aided kind of, yeah, experience for all of this. There are a lot of people who don't get a chance to go abroad. They can see so many things. I mean, they can explore so many things by sitting same place. They can be 20 people who can be, talking to in a stadium together, watching a soccer match, in spite of. So I can do a social watching of matches of movies. There are multiple.
Yes, multiple uses. And I can think of a lot of good things. I mean, going back in time in the virtual reality, and having that with also senses and smell.
I'm myself creating my old parental house. I'm recreating it. I'm creating avatars of my parents who I've lost, and we are giving them their voice today. The tech permits it. And imagine, over weekend, my extended family is all into our home house virtually, and meeting each other and meeting all the people who we've. These are all realities of turning the picture book, or turning the pictures on your phone. You could actually go and talk to them and hear them and
Yes,
stuff.
indeed.
All reality. Imagine
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we are talking.
there are multiple things. Travel
So
around the world, and
the world is changing as we know it. The world is totally going to change. In next 3 to 4 years, we're going to have a different world altogether. That's I firmly believe.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of in as not necessarily as bad, it's the um that feeling of being contempt of where you are, right? And using this technology and being in all the places that you want to be, right? Although you're not physical, you can go there, and that can create addiction in terms of
I totally agree. I mean, today we know people are having those de-addiction centers for games also. For the kids, everything is there. So they responsible. So that's where I say that there would be a whole kind of tool and learning curves and things. So while would have a lot of pluses, but definitely it will have a lot of minuses. Why would I want to come out of it? I can If I can live my dream virtually, I would not want to be physically present. And it's a possibility out there. I'm not saying it's not a possibility, but then at the end of the day, if I throw a philosophical one to you, at the end of the day, the man wants to be happy, and if he is happy with those goggles and he's happy, then
yes, you cannot, you don't have what to do. What I'm thinking of solutions, not to not evaluate, because evolution is in our nature. It is there and we can see it, and it's happening. Virtual reality, everything in this regard, the blockchain, virtual money, and everything is there to to have it, and all these things, and generative AI with models and so on, that will help you in this process to create those virtual worlds. And yes, what I was wanted to say is that we need more solutions on how to not to prevent but also to combine the worlds.
yes. So there could be things like what I believe China or Korea has done, that there are time limits. You cannot go into that word for more than these many hours. And there would be initially some kind of policing that requires to be done. A different kind of regulations and a different kind of regulatory framework needs to come to, or those kind of warnings and things would come to the rescue. So there would be some real world solutions and maybe a tech solution also, like in a car, if you can put something that it cannot go beyond. So on a head device, if I have some parental controls that you cannot, it will on a single day, it will not work, operate more than these many hours. And so
Yeah,
you
technical limitations of the devices.
on the devices, and also learning curve is always there
Yeah,
when
taking
anything
your
new,
time.
new yeah, yeah. So those
Yeah,
things I
anyway, the
feel.
technology won't be very cheap in the start, so no, there won't be a spread to say like mobile phones, because now mobile phones are you can everyone can afford mostly a mobile phone.
Surprised, you would be surprised. My headset giving you the quality of a Apple Pro, while my software is not there, but from a hardware point of view, that kind of a clarity is my device coming with, and it's going to be $500. Vis-a-vis that is $3,000. So these kind of things, there are new experiments happening, there are new R&Ds happening, how to bring down that cost. Because at the end of the day, that's the last mile connectivity for consuming the immersive content. So if TikTok is wanting to talk about, and the phones are also coming out with these, you can create 3D videos through your phones. And then, so imagine if TikToks of the world are talking about short form immersive content. So for consuming that content, you need to have that device, which is a last mile connectivity at a much affordable price. People are working day and night and hours to bring down the cost. So I mean, so not that it's very far. The costs are gonna come down very soon.
Okay, so as any invention in the start are harder to reach, but in the end they will become cheap. So with any laptops, TVs, and mobile phones and so on. So yeah, it is there. And what I said, what I was thinking of was not only the technical devices to have the limitations. Okay, you can put that, but in the end, there are the users who decide if they want to respect the limitation, they want to install something to,
I know,
to block
jailbreak
the
those
limitation.
jailbreak those
Yes.
limitations.
Indeed, there will be needed multiple people that will encourage users of this AR, which are blocked there, maybe to encourage them to create communities, physical communities, to go together. Even they have virtual communities and virtual cities and so on to get physical to recreate the same environment. Maybe, yeah.
You would start valuing physical meeting more, I would say.
Definitely. Yeah, and but we are social beings, so we will search for social interaction even in AR, because yes, it's about connection, it's about being part of community, it's about belonging, and those values which we as people have. And so that needs to be enforced, maybe, and recreated, and be facilitators of these types of communities to encourage the people to get out from AR, come physical, meet me physical, and so on. Even they don't have the same environment, maybe if they want now to go and travel together in Paris, and they don't have the money to go to go to Paris from different part of the world. But yeah, there are multiple ways, which I'm thinking now of raising, getting off this limitation of being only in AR and VR. Yeah. Okay. So one quick question for you. If you could have dinner with any figure from the tech industry, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
uh, Dinner with anybody from the tech industry, I would want to have it with the team, not one, but the team at the AI team which is working on training the OpenAI, not Sam Altman, to just be, yeah, the team which is only training the OpenAI. Yeah, so I just want to sit with them and just understand and feel that I would want to be touched with the kind of addictive this thing that they would be going through. It's a different kind of, I can't even imagine how and what they must be going through on a daily basis, that what they have created, how it is responding and how it is behaving and what it is doing and how it has become a craze globally, and what are they doing to, so they are, I mean, the rumors are that so-called AGI is already there, and so I just want to kind of feel that adrenaline, that addictive, this thing. So that's what where I would want to have.
The entire team. Bring it all to me. Okay, okay, I understand. Yeah, there are multiple, I don't know, things to get out of that meeting. And as inventor, but
Want to get inspired, nothing else.
yes, yes, it's
Want
only
their
for.
algorithm. I don't want anything else. I just want to get inspired by. I believe I will get some addictive adrenaline passed on to me. That's what I.
Mhm. Okay. So as we prepare our final thoughts for the podcast, are there any, I don't know, particular piece of advices or insights you would like to leave with the audience? Maybe some resources, some books, anything that you cross your mind.
Today, I mean, I believe the entire knowledge is up there. So, I mean, I've trained, I've read, I daily on a daily basis, I read at least 3, 4 papers on AI and all, which keeps coming. So everything is available today. Everything is there. Whatever is your area of interest. I personally believe that you need to know what's going on in the world, what's new happening. So that's all. I don't know if that's boring advice or that was, but that's a genuinely what I do.
Mm, yeah, yes, indeed. And um, I don't know if you could share some uh, feedback for me. How did you felt in this podcast? Name one thing that you got from here.
So first of all, I just loved it. You reaching out to me, and you honestly talking to me, and we are having this chat. I personally feel that this is not one of those chats. Being me myself, I would not let you go easy. You cannot, let go of me. You need to stay connected with me. So I'll make sure of that. So you need not worry about that. I'll make sure of that. And secondly, I believe that uh, the human nature that you're wanting to bring on, the I think that somewhere it clicked, because that's how I've been feeling, and that's what I believe corporates should be thinking about and thinking like. So that these are some very good you know uh, conversations that need to happen, that need to be brought upfront, that people need to understand and see. At the end of the day, like you rightly said, it is not the tech and tech skill, it's the humans behind that matter. And so that how you are bringing about that, how you are contributing to that, is what I would want to salute you for that. I would applaud you for that. I just that part, a part of this conversations. Other conversations had been about my product and my company and stuff, but this is a conversation which I really loved and enjoyed.
Mm, awesome. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, and if you have other, do you want to say other thing? Otherwise, we can close it.
Yeah, yeah, good. And let me know whenever you publish it. I'll also send it to my team and all. Let's see what they say about it, how it has come.
Sure. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Vibe It Up. I hope you enjoyed our insightful conversation with Tapan Sangal. And before we go, I want to extend a big thank you to our guest for sharing his valuable experience and perspective. So, if you, our listeners, have been inspired or have burning questions after this episode, I encourage you to connect with us. You can find more about Vibe It Up on YouTube, LinkedIn, and other channels. So you will discover our great episodes, informations, and guests. So thank you very much, Tapan. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and I truly believe that what you are doing, it will enrich us as experiences, as people, and so on. So thank you very much.